that comes in Ain't Nothing Like Freedom. And that is that there was, here are my Black Panther friends, and Elder Freeman is here, and then Thug is here, Black Panther leaders and people who gave me inspiration for what they've done. But at the height of the anti-war movement, which Answer was leading, Act Now to Stop War and Racism, yeah. And Answer was our anti-war, was against the war. And Answer gave us the opportunity to, I really need to get let me get some notes here. Is there anywhere that I have some notes? Well, anyway, Answer decides that they are going to I'm trying to, please pardon me. What I'm trying to fashion is how we were invited to participate in an anti-war rally in Washington, D.C. It was the biggest rally at the time. And it was the biggest rally. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't remember.
It's all right.
I can't remember. But we were supposed to the anti-war rally. Oh, I'm lost. I'm so lost. I'm so lost.
Cynthia, you came here and led Answer's rallies time after time.
Yes, I did, but this was the Washington, D.C. rally. And we were told that we were not supposed to participate in the Answer rally because Answer had a lot of bad things going on. Answer was supposed to be anti-Semitic. And so we couldn't participate in the Answer rally. And I was determined that I was going to participate in something that was anti-war. And if they said Answer was anti-Semitic, I didn't care. I was going to participate in an anti-war rally, which is what I did. But unfortunately, there were members of Congress who also were supposed to participate in the anti-war rally. We got together on the floor of the House and we decided that we weren't going to be told that, that we couldn't participate in somebody else's anti-war rally. We were going to participate in an anti-war rally. And that's what we did. Except that there were people who, when they were supposed to, how can I say this? Members of Congress said we would meet and participate in the rally, but we didn't do that. There were members of Congress who were supposed to show up and they didn't show up. And I was left there by myself to show up and speak at the anti-war rally. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to get that out, Because it was traumatic. Yeah, it was traumatic. Because that was the beginning of a lot of unpleasant targeting that happened to me, because I was supposed to, I meant to, I wanted to participate. There were other members of Congress who said that they were going to participate, And then I was left there by myself. And the other members of Congress didn't participate in the anti-war rally. They were intimidated by what they had been told not to do, not to participate in the answer rally. And Gloria Lorraine was shaking her head up there. So that was one of, that's just one example of the kinds of things that happen that, they go into the book. They go into somebody's book. Is there any, other people gotta talk. Jeez.
I have a question.
Especially since we don't have Vic singing.
I have a question. What?
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then, let's do the 5, and then we'll do 5 more.
What was it about answer that was so disreputable that you were told to stay away from those people?
Palestine.
Yes, Gloria is there, but yes, it was the issue of Palestine and having Palestinians or people who advocated on behalf of Palestine actually have a voice at these anti-war rallies. That was what was controversial. It's less controversial now, but it was very controversial, about 10 years ago?
Oh my God.
2?
Two.
Who's number 2?
That's number
Okay.
2. I'm a native Washingtonian, and I was in the city at the time that I'll never forget this incident. You were trying to go into the congressional building.
Yes.
For whatever reason, they were very disrespectful to you. They said you didn't have credentials or something. I think these security people had already seen you 100 times before.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they say, no, you can't come in here, you don't have credentials. What was going on with that?
A lot was going on with that I didn't realize at the time. Actually, I had no way of knowing how I was going to be treated, right? The credentials, any member of Congress is supposed to be allowed to go in and out of all of the buildings. It is the responsibility of the Capitol Hill Police to know what the members of Congress look like, because if they don't know what they look like, they can't protect them, right? And the mission of the Capitol Hill Police is to protect the members of Congress. Now, what had happened was from the very beginning, you have to kind of go back into the place, because I was among the youngest members of Congress at the time, so I didn't look like a typical member of Congress. And I didn't dress like a typical member of Congress. So everything was kind of upside down. And then there was this idea, which we later found out about, if you look at the Capitol Police actually being, they picked on me all the time. Starting in 1993 when I was sworn in, what I later found out was that they didn't like the fact that I wore Afrocentric clothes, and that I always would run quickly to go vote. We have 15 minutes to go vote, so I would go run. And they didn't like the way I looked. They didn't like my attitude. And so I was physically attacked by the Capitol Hill Police, and I was mistreated all the time. It was just the way it was. Every month I was physically assaulted by the Capitol Hill Police. It was not anything, I mean, it was like it happened all the time. And I didn't understand that I had been targeted. I didn't get it. January, it happens. February, it happens. March, it happens. It had happened the whole year before. It was just the way I was treated, and I didn't even realize that I was being mistreated. Now, of course, I realize that. And the film American Blackout has an interview of black police officers where they talk about how the white police officers used me as target practice, basically. And I didn't know that at the time. 3?
I started paying a lot of attention to your career around September 11th. And September 11th, 2011, September 10th, you confronted Donald Rumsfeld about $2 trillion missing in the Defense Department budget.
2.3.
It had never made the news until the next day. So could you talk about that?
Yeah, you know, you get in trouble when you read a lot. And I read, so I always stay in trouble. I'm, you know, just a little bad little girl, you know. And one of the things I read was David Walker, who was the Comptroller General of the United States, who had, actually David Walker, and he had expressed his disgust at how it seems like I'm at a loss for words, how wasteful the United States government was, and the Pentagon in particular. And so I started asking a few questions, and you know, the rest of it became history. That little interaction with Donald Rumsfeld, but there was a lot, you know, there's a whole lot more, but there was 1.1 trillion missing out of HUD at the same time that the 2.3 trillion was missing from the Pentagon. And the federal budget was never balanced because there was so much what you can call leakage.
Do you have any idea what that money ever went towards?
Well, that's a big mystery. 3 or 4? Yes.
Yeah, I remember one of the flotilla.
Yes.
One of the flotillas I think we went on. I can't remember which ship I think we went on in particular, but
Yes.
you said that there was a dual purpose. That was one to deliver supplies, and the other one was to discover whether they were actually mining the natural gas deposits off the shores of Gaza. And I can't recall if you actually did find anything. But if you did, could you explain to us what?
That wasn't a dual purpose. It wasn't a dual purpose. There was a single purpose for our efforts to get into Gaza. Well, there were 2, okay? So, but not those 2. Yeah. One was to deliver the medical supplies to the people of Gaza, but the second one was to assert the human rights of the people of Gaza to assert their human rights. And that came in the form of having, how can I say, the geographic access to their territorial waters, to their territory. So those were the 2 ideas behind the flotilla and the Free Gaza movement itself.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I thought that you had mentioned it as one of the things that you were also trying to discover the thing about the natural.
We weren't trying to discover that. I think it was actually, you know, it was actually known that there were natural gas deposits in those areas, in those waters. Now, what I did bring notice to was when we were kidnapped by the Israelis and we're being held hostage, and the boat that we were on is making its way into safe harbor. It went by an extremely circuitous route. And so instead of going directly to Ashdod in Israel, we went an extra like 15 hours. And what is it that was being avoided? And that was my supposition that it was the natural gas deposits that were being